I like the 6th and 7th princes. At the Empress's selection event, she lets ladies choose their own princes. Everyone scrambled to name their favorites, hoping for her royal blessing of marriage. When it was my turn, I pretended to hesitate before speaking. The person I admire is a bit unusual. I hope your majesty will forgive me. As soon as I said this, the whole room's curiosity was instantly piqued. The Empress spoke gently. Go ahead and tell us. What makes it so different? If it's truly inappropriate, I'll simply reject it.
I bowed gracefully, thanking Her Majesty for her kindness. With a smile I said, the one I have set my sights on is the young master from Princess Yunyang's residence. As soon as I finished speaking, the Princess Xiao sitting beside me instantly bristled. Lin Yueyao! You shameless wench, how dare you say something like that? Just look at you. Princess Xihua looked absolutely furious. I knew right away she must have misunderstood, thinking I was trying to steal the man she loves. Though Xiaolang is the son of the former consort, he was raised in the palace and everyone calls him. Even Princess Yunyang glared at me, hearing him called young Master Xiao, thinking I was after him too. At the time the Empress unaware simply frowned and scolded her niece.
Yuexi, you're too unruly, shouting and making a scene like this. You're acting like a shrew. You've disgraced the royal family.
Princess Xihua realized her slip and knelt to apologize, admitting her error and asking for pardon. The Empress glanced at her coldly.
If you know you've been rude, then hurry up and apologize to that young lady.
Princess Xihua was skeptical. She refused to yield or let me marry Lord Xiao. To avoid trouble, I just bowed formally.
That is quite enough. Princess, it is impossible for me to accept your apology. It seems that at least you know your place.
I pretended not to notice her smug expression, blinking my innocent big eyes as I looked at her.
But Princess, why are you so angry? Could it be that you also have feelings for the second young Master Xiao Yu?
The hall went silent. Jaws dropped in shock. No one expected my feelings were for the second son, Xiao Yu, rather than Lord Xiao. They thought I'd lost my mind. Princess Xihua stared in disbelief, her mouth moving faster than her brain.
You must be joking, right? Are you out of your mind?
It's absolutely true. I am fond of the second young Master Xiao. I turned my gaze to Princess Yunyang, who was stunned like a wooden statue, the birth mother of the second young Master Xiao. I smiled gracefully and charmingly.
I hope that Her Majesty the Empress and the Princess Royal will grant us their blessing.
Everyone's jaws nearly dropped to the floor. Some even gasped. Why were they so shocked? I knew perfectly well why. That second young Master Xiao Yu, was once a magnificent and talented prodigy, renowned throughout the capital since childhood. In terms of family background, looks, physique, and even literary and martial prowess, he was practically flawless, without a single weakness. Before the age of 16, Xiao Yu was a noble young master admired by all of the capital. But after the age of 16, the name Xiao Yu became a taboo that everyone knew but feared, simply because she wrote a letter in blood, directly denouncing the emperor and her maternal grandfather as a tyrant, which enraged the emperor, who directly imprisoned her, never to be released. But in my eyes, what's wrong with being imprisoned? It's good for a man to be imprisoned. My little calculations were going on and on. How wonderful it would be to be Xiao Yu's wife. Wealthy family, leisurely life, and Princess Yunyang is a gentle mother-in-law. I could give birth to an heir and be in charge of the household myself, saving me the trouble of serving a man. Wouldn't that be better than being a tool for the male lead? Even having to rely on my family for a few days? That kind of unfortunate fortune is better left to Princess Xihua to enjoy slowly. The Empress was the first to recover. She remembered Xiao Yu. She had once greatly admired her talent, but since Xiao Yu criticized the Emperor and was imprisoned, few people had mentioned her. Even Princess Yunyang remained silent. However, 2 years had passed and His Majesty's attitude towards Xiao Yu hadn't worsened. He kept her in this lukewarm manner, ultimately out of consideration for their blood ties. So the Empress turned to look at Princess Yunyang.
After all, Xiao Yu is your own flesh and blood. What do you think about this matter?
Princess Yunyang's heart raced. She dreamed of her son's wedding, but she hesitated to decide such a major matter alone. Then the Crown Prince intervened to help.
Xiao Yu is grown now. Since it's a good match, they should just get married.
The Crown Prince is practically half a ruler himself, and after years of being involved in state affairs, he can more or less guess the Emperor's intentions regarding Xiao Yu. Hearing his words, Princess Yunyang finally felt reassured and looked at the Crown Prince with eyes full of gratitude. The Empress couldn't help but sigh. She hadn't expected that the most pleasing beauty today would end up choosing Xiao Yu, that little troublemaker.
Once the marriage is decreed, there's no turning back. You must think this through carefully.
I have no hesitation whatsoever.
My mind is made up, and I will remain devoted to one person for life.
Her hands sweated.
Since that's the case, I will grant your wish and betroth you to Xiao Yu.
With that, the matter was settled. Only then did Princess Yunyang, who had been putting on an act, begin to size up her future daughter-in-law with a probing gaze. Just as the Empress had said, she was indeed a striking beauty, and the more Princess Yunyang looked, the more delighted she became. Beaming with excitement, she took my hand and said,
Good child, let me thank you on behalf of that disappointing Xiao Yu.
I smiled with my eyes crinkling.
Thank you for your kindness, Your Highness.
Only Princess Xihua stared at me with a ghostly expression, as if afraid I was up to some trick. Yes, Princess Xihua didn't believe I genuinely wanted to marry that old man fan. She thought I was just using this as a delaying tactic to maintain my ties with her beloved Xiao Yu. So, she rolled her eyes and turned to the Empress, pretending I didn't like Xiao Yu at all, and was only trying to avoid being imprisoned. A grave crime of abandoning the Emperor. The Empress was taken aback. Although she didn't completely believe Princess Jihua's blatant lies, she became suspicious, and immediately decided to detain me and send people to investigate. Princess Yunyang, who was about to lead me out of the palace, stopped in her tracks upon seeing this and decided to stay with me. She asked with concern, "Your Majesty, what's wrong? Is there something you're worried about?" The Empress gestured for us to calm down. Not long after, the spies sent to the Marquis of Wuchang's residence returned with their report. The investigation confirmed Princess Jihua's words. I was indeed forced by my family to participate in the selection of concubines because I had taken a liking to a poor boy, and my family absolutely refused to agree.
How dare you, lying in front of the Empress? This is a crime of deceiving the sovereign. Your Majesty, please forgive me. Those were all things of the distant past. Now, I am truly sincere in my feelings for the second son of the Xiao family.
Princess Xihua put her hands on her hips and pointed at my nose, scolding me.
You still dare to argue? I was almost fooled by you, you little vixen.
Seeing the situation turning against me, I steeled myself and spoke resolutely.
If you doubt me, then tonight, send me to prison in a bridal sedan. I won't complain at all.
I thought, I'm afraid the longer it lasts, the more that hypocrite Xiaolan will pester me. As soon as I said this, it was like a bombshell. Everyone was stunned.
Lin Yueyao, you really are full of tricks. You won't shed a tear until you see the coffin.
Your Majesty, please don't be fooled. This is definitely just another delaying tactic of hers. The Empress's anger subsided a little. Although she couldn't be bothered to distinguish truth from lies, she was convinced I wasn't being honest. So the minister spoke up.
Since you have such determination, I will grant your wish. Tomorrow night you will leave the palace to be married and be sent directly to wed Xiao Yu.
Thank you.
Thanks, Your Majesty, for this favor.
I finally breathed a sigh of relief. The matter was settled. Though Princess Yunyang felt helpless, she hurried home to prepare. The Empress sent the decree to the Marquis of Wuchang.
Say Lin Yueyao is betrothed to Xiao Yu and marries from the palace tomorrow. Tell the Marquis of Wuchang it was her own choice, unforced.
Princess Xihua looked at me with a face full of schadenfreude, thinking I'd be full of regret. My father, upon realizing the true reason why the marriage was rushed, was absolutely furious but could do nothing about it. He begrudgingly prepared the dowry, hoping royal ties would protect him. Meanwhile, Princess Yunyang quickly sent someone to deliver the good news to Xiao Yu in prison.
Quickly tell the second young master the palace has granted a marriage.
Yup.
The bride is eldest daughter of House Wuchang.
Tomorrow he'll enter the prison to marry her. After hearing this, the two of them immediately got excited, getting married right away. And it's tomorrow. Heavens. Guiyuan and Babao were so thrilled they kept rubbing their hands together. The servants hurried off to deliver the good news, thinking to themselves, has the second young master really gone through every woman in the capital? This is just outrageous. Meanwhile, in the prison cell, Xiao Su was earnestly advising, second young master, this is a matter of righteousness. Do you understand what righteousness means?
That's like having a knife to your throat. You have to accept it whether you want to or not.
Xiao Yu glared angrily at these two jokers and sneered.
Easy for you to say. So you're just standing here joking? She picked me, but I have no history with her, so why target me like this? Look at me. Yet some woman is still after me. The world is full of strange things. Besides, anyone making such a brainless choice must be completely out of her mind.
Xiao Si eyed Qing, thinking, is he really this dense? Did prison make him stupid? She urged him with a concerned look.
Second young master, how is this harming you? This is clearly heaven showing you favor. The grace of a beauty is as heavy as a mountain. You should be secretly rejoicing under your covers.
Second young master is a romantic blockhead. He's usually indifferent, but once married, he'll see how wonderful women are.
Xiao Yu waved her hand coldly, her face expressionless.
No matter how eloquently you speak, I absolutely refuse to take a wife. Don't even think about getting me to cooperate.
He slammed the cell door shut, acting unshakable. Unfortunately, the second young master forgot he was a prisoner, not the master here. Princess Yunyang had arranged everything. She only requested a prison wedding with no intention of a breakout. The Minister of Justice agreed, so he allowed the princess's people and items inside. Under the jailer's guidance, a group marched in to set everything up. She casually tossed in a set of bright red wedding robes, and the leading matron instructed,
Guiyuan, Babao, hurry up and help second young master change clothes. Check if the size fits. Got it.
Liang Xiaoxi hadn't seen her master in ages. Excited, she rushed forward crying, Master, you've suffered, but felt only hard muscle. Then an angry shout, get out!
I'm telling you, you need to get out of here right now.
The two of them were tossed aside by the second young master like sandbags. She shouted angrily, her face darkened.
Go back and tell my mother that this marriage is impossible. Even if you tie up the bride and bring her here, it won't work.
Gui Yuan and Babao, with their small statures, were no match for the second young master. They tried to flank him from both sides several times, but couldn't even touch him. Helpless, they could only slink back to Princess Yunyang for reinforcements, hoping the princess might have some clever trick to subdue this giant donkey. Princess Yunyang also looked worried. Her own son's temper was like a rock in a latrine, stubborn and unyielding, refusing to drink water. Even grabbing the desk was useless. For now they could only wait until I entered the palace before making further plans. That night in the palace was relatively peaceful. Princess Xihua probably thought I was trapped and couldn't escape, so she stopped watching me like a thief. Jian dealt swiftly with the treacherous maid and gave the dowry sent by the family a good scolding, since these people would be living with me in the princess's residence from now on. Just as dawn was breaking, I was escorted from the palace to my new home, a marriage bestowed by the Empress. Although it was a bit rushed, the formalities were impeccable. The bridal sedan chair arrived at the princess's residence with great fanfare. Aside from the lack of soldiers, which made it slightly quiet, all the proper etiquette was observed. I even held a large rooster while performing the wedding ceremony. Then I was led to the bridal chamber to rest. Princess Yunyang held my hand and sighed.
Xiao Yu is a fair-weather rascal and he's slippery. He won't be kind to you in prison.
His face was full of worry, his mind in turmoil. If this marriage were truly what both sides wanted, it would be fine. But now that rascal is 100 times unwilling. He's really afraid that I'll suffer grievances without getting anything in return. As for me, I just laughed it off, carefree as ever. As the saying goes, a determined woman can wear down even a wolf, and the reverse is true as well. He's a grown man after all. Surely he wouldn't throw me out, bedding and all, right? Princess Yunyang thought it over and figured, as long as she could turn this into a done deal, what was there to fear about him not owning up to it?
Let me thank you for Xiao Yu. Thanks for putting up with that scoundrel and making such concessions.
I smiled faintly and shook my head, but inside I was overjoyed. There were so many things he didn't know about his son. He was quite a character. How could this be considered a grievance? My blissful days were yet to come. In this hellish place with its 3 wives and 4 concubines, if I married someone else, I would probably have to spend years fighting in the inner quarters, serving my in-laws and my husband, and then having to outwit and outmaneuver the concubines. Just thinking about it made my head buzz. Of course, I could stubbornly refuse to marry, but without a wealthy family to rely on, I wouldn't be able to protect myself. If some lecherous and powerful person set their sights on me and obtained an imperial decree, my life would be completely over. It's better to stay in this marriage in name only and be safe. I can visit him in prison whenever I want, and if I don't want to, I can just stay home and relax. My cheap husband can't control me at all. At this moment, Xiao Yu, who was squatting in the prison, suddenly sneezed loudly. He turned his eyes away, no longer wearing his red wedding dress, and felt an inexplicable chill rush to the top of his head. He shrank his neck and felt a chill down his back, and he started to have doubts.
Could that crazy wife really be coming to kill me? Is her head filled with tales of the martial world? And that fool Xiaolang, doesn't he always boast about his deep love and write sappy poems? If he likes her so much, why doesn't he dare to heroically rescue the beauty and snatch the bride in public?
You really can't count on him. When Xiaolang first heard that I was to be married off, unconscious to his arch-rival, he was so furious that he smashed a whole room full of porcelain on the spot. To avoid suspicion, he could only slink off, dejected, to a tavern to drown his sorrows. He was born into humble circumstances and is of average talent, yet he's always lived in the shadow of Xiao Yu's brilliance. That's become a thorn in Xiaolang's heart that he just can't remove. After painstakingly scheming to set Xiao Yu up and get him thrown into prison, thinking he could finally trample this favored son of heaven into the mud and destroy him completely, who would have thought that Xiao Yu would still haunt him like a ghost even as a prisoner, and now even wants to steal away the goddess in his heart. Xiaolang is utterly broken. Meanwhile, the Princess Xihua, who rushed out of the palace in a panic, has now changed into a scholar's robe from the Imperial Academy, dressed as a man, and is hurrying over to comfort her heartbroken classmate. Seeing the one she loves in such a despondent state, Princess Xihua feels her heart shatter. She leans in and softly calls, "Xiaolang, why are you drinking alone here in misery?"
Waxia, it's you!
Drunkenly, Xiaolang saw the person approaching and his heart skipped. It was Princess Xihua, who used the alias Huaxi at the Imperial Academy. Having been classmates for years, he knew her affection for him was obvious, but so what? Even a marquis's daughter couldn't match her background. Prince Rui's manor would never allow such a noble princess to marry him. Besides, while her status attracted him, he loathed her spoiled temper. Marrying her would be like serving a deity, not a wife, so Xiaolang kept his distance. He understood everything but pretended to be clueless, only shaking his head with a dejected smile. The woman I love is getting married, and the groom is my second brother, and she's the marquis's daughter, beautiful as a flower, gentle and considerate, the perfect wife that's hard to find even with a lantern. How could Xiaolang be willing to let her slip away just like that? Before, in order to win me over, he often praised my looks in front of Princess Xihua, deliberately stirring up a woman's jealousy, hoping to use her to help him win the beauty. Who would have thought Princess Xihua would turn out to be a terrible ally? Not only did she fail to help, she even turned around and landed me in Xiao Yu's prison. Thinking of this, Xiaolang was so angry his liver hurt. He suddenly raised his cup and drained it in one gulp.
It seems you really have fallen for her.
Princess Xihua watched with jealous satisfaction. At nightfall, a large red bridal sedan entered the gloomy prison, stopping before Xiao Yu's cell. The maid, Qiujian, wept at the sight. Mrs. Fate is too bitter, she thought. A dignified marquise's daughter marrying in a cell. The thought of consummating the marriage there turned everyone pale. I impatiently urged them to hurry.
Shut your mouths. This path was my own choice. If I'm not complaining, what are you all so upset about? Are you trying to annoy me even more?
The two maids fell to their knees, trembling. Please calm down, miss. We wouldn't dare wrong you. Don't be angry, they pleaded. I waved them off coldly.
Enough with the nonsense. All of you stand guard at the door.
After saying that, she stepped out of the sedan and crossed the threshold into the prison with the matron's help. Xiao Yu hid behind the bath curtain, feeling hopeless. She wondered why this was happening. She'd only done good, aside from cursing the emperor and her grandfather for being foolish rulers for the people's sake. Why would heaven send a bride to torment her? The matron, her voice loud and cheerful, called out joyfully,
"Groom, hurry up and come out to greet your bride!"
For the right price, she'd brighten the mood even at a wedding in the underworld. Although Xiao Yu could scold her secretary mercilessly, she wouldn't embarrass another woman in public, so reluctantly, she stepped out from behind the curtain. The bride's eyes lit up.
Oh my, this groom is truly handsome. Tall, elegant, and outstanding in appearance. But on such a joyous day, why haven't you even changed into your wedding attire?
Her sharp eyes sized up his broad frame. He looked truly exceptional. Xiao Yu gave a dry reply.
There wasn't time.
He cursed himself inwardly for his damned sense of morality. Why couldn't he learn to be as shameless and brazen as Prince Xiao? If only he could be ruthless, he would have already thrown that wedding robe out the door and coldly shouted, "Get out!" But the bridal attendant didn't care about any of that and turned to sway her way outside.
Hurry up! Is Xiao Xi here? Come in and give the groom a hand changing into his wedding attire.
Guiyuan and Babao had already been waiting by the door, eavesdropping at the corner. As soon as they heard the shout, they darted inside in a flash. The two worked together seamlessly. One held the clothes, the other got to work. In front of everyone, Xiao Yu was like a soulless wooden post, letting them handle and dress him as they pleased. The bridal attendant grinned, her face full of wrinkles, grabbed Xiao Yu's hand, then took mine, and forcibly stacked our hands together.
Come, groom and bride, from today on, I'm entrusting you to each other. Although this place is special and the wedding is simple, seeing how well matched you two are, your love must be stronger than gold. From now on, you're destined for a lifetime together, growing old side by side, sharing every joy and sorrow.
After saying this, he slowly let go, noticing that I was tightly holding onto the groom and wouldn't let go.
Well then, I won't get in the way any longer. Wishing you both an early arrival of a precious child.
As the heavy wooden and iron doors closed with a clatter, Xiao Yu, who had followed us out from the TV, impatiently spoke up in a cold voice.
If this marriage isn't going to work, you go back and explain it clearly to my mother yourself. Whether you want to break off the engagement or recognize her as your goddaughter, it's up to you. Just don't drag me into it.
I calmly raised my hand and lifted the red bridal veil, revealing my carefully made-up, radiant face. There was neither shyness nor anger on my face, just a look of calm as I gazed at her. As it happens, I don't want to get married either. Why don't we talk about a partnership? After all, our meeting was by chance.
She started to leave, but at my words she paused, surprised, and turned back, frowning slightly.
What partnership do you mean?
Anyway, whether you're in prison or not, getting married doesn't make a difference to you. But if we don't go through with the marriage, wouldn't that let down the elders' good intentions? So why not just get married, give me a child, and let your mother have a grandson to enjoy family happiness? That way she won't have to worry about her rebellious son all day. Xiao Yu was stunned when she heard this, narrowing her eyes and scrutinizing me closely.
Is this your calculation? Guiyun and Baba were arguing that love is worth more than gold.
This deal is pretty worthwhile, isn't it?
I put my hands on my hips and stared at her with those bright, captivating eyes, my gaze intense and pressing. Xiao Yu immediately looked away, turning her head with a wary expression.
My mother is simple and easy to fool, but who knows what kind of scheme you're plotting. You're using the child to hold Princess Yunyang hostage and stirring up trouble in the household. When everything falls apart, who's going to clean up the mess? Are you just relying on your powerful family background?
I know what you're getting at. Your words are dripping with sarcasm. Since you know your mother is simple and easy to bully, haven't you ever thought about how the prince consort and Xiaolang usually act? Don't you know what kind of people those two are? Are you really that clueless? Xiao Yu was instantly at a loss for words, her face turning pale. I couldn't even be bothered to spare her feelings. That prince consort father of yours has been biased for more than just a day or two. Don't you know how stifled mother has felt these past few years? All you do is hide away here, pretending to be clear-headed. The more I spoke, the angrier I got, my finger nearly poking her in the face. You just throw up your hands and ignore everything, selfish to the extreme. What's the point of Her Highness the Princess giving birth to you? She might as well have raised a dog. It would be more loyal.
Xiao Yu had been spoiled since she was a child and had never been scolded so harshly, right to her face. But this time she didn't get angry, I could tell. She wasn't really heartless. When I mentioned mother, her expression clearly changed.
Even you know they're bullying my mother.
Her voice was low.
Scary.
What exactly did they do?
I let out a cold laugh.
Ever since you were imprisoned, the princess fell seriously ill, but still had to take care of your young third brother. And what did your wonderful father do? He immediately had Uncle Yongcheng send over a niece from his own family, claiming it was to help manage the household.
Yes, I know.
Xiao Yu nodded. Then, do you know that cousin of yours is extremely ambitious? She wants to take your mother's place and completely take over this household. Xiao Yu's gaze was as cold as ice.
What do you mean?
Not yet, but it won't be long. That May auntie is already getting ready to make her move and your father is going along with her, acting all affectionate. A so-called good girl from the palace has been clinging to your cousin's house for 2 whole years without leaving. What do you think she's after? Isn't it obvious she wants that position? These words hit Xiao Yu like a heavy blow to the heart.
Her eyes were filled with barely suppressed anger. Now you understand what kind of situation your mother and your younger brother are in, don't you? As a son, Bi Yunjue Chongxiang should know what kind of dangerous place that Jun family really is. Hearing this, he lifted his head and looked at me with suspicion in his eyes.
Do you have a way?
I let my gaze sweep over him without restraint, full of confidence. As long as you're willing to cooperate with me, I guarantee I can bring the princess's residence back to life. At my look, Xiao Yu inexplicably felt a chill. The next second he actually hurriedly raised his hand to cover his chest, his face instantly flushing red. What are you looking at? How can you be so shameless?
Don't worry, once I'm pregnant, I won't come looking for you anymore.
As soon as I finished speaking, I immediately took off the bridal phoenix crown and walked toward the bed. This whole ordeal lasted most of the night, and by the time it finally stopped, that poor bed was such a mess it was unbearable to look at. Xiao Yu, who usually talks so much about virtue and morality, looked at the chaotic bed, his face turning alternately pale and flushed.
Go back, or it'll be dawn soon.
He stood and spoke, suppressing his anger. Dress yourself, he said, his touch racing our hearts. Exhausted, I looked up into her phoenix eyes, desirous yet poised. I thought, next time you'll be the one chasing me. Finally, the door opened and maids helped me into the sedan. I had just stepped in when Xiao Yu's hoarse voice called from behind.
Take her back safely.
He cleared his throat and his tone suddenly became extremely serious.
Be more alert in the mansion and help the second young madam. Don't let anyone bully her.
Yes, please rest assured, second young master. The 2 maids were so happy that their smiles almost reached the back of their heads. Xiao Yu took one last look at the bridal sedan, as if she was severing some lingering attachment, and with a bang, she closed the cell door. He locked himself back into that isolated cage, but I knew that this man was now completely mine. The sedan swayed gently, and I drifted off to sleep in a daze. I slept all the way to the Princess Yunyang's residence. As soon as I got out of the sedan, I saw that the main hall was brightly lit. Princess Yunyang hadn't slept all night and was just waiting there. When she saw me come out of the sedan, a look of delight instantly burst from her noble eyes. Princess Yunyang looked at my exhausted appearance, her eyes filled with such heartache that she was about to cry. Quick, help your mistress back to rest, she urged. I didn't stand on ceremony either, so tired that I could only nod repeatedly like a pecking chicken.
You'll be staying in Xiao Yu's courtyard. It's always been kept ready, and today it's been specially arranged again.
Princess Yunyang personally led the way, as if I were some rare and precious treasure.
Alright, go heat some water and take good care of your mistress.
After settling me in, Princess Yunyang reluctantly left. Before she went, she gave me a loving reminder to rest well.
If anything, we'll talk.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Tomorrow!
There's no need to get up so early either. Princess Yunyang, as if afraid I'd change my mind, added another reminder. Yes, thank you Princess Zhaoyang for your consideration. As soon as the princess left, several old maids surrounded me, tears streaming down their faces as if they cost nothing.
Young miss, you've really been wronged. Getting married in a prison cell. This is like a slap in the face to our Hong family.
The 2 maids I'd disciplined before were also there, their eyelids twitching and looking utterly dejected. I watched this self-righteous group coldly and directly interrupted their melodramatic act halfway through.
Ladies, wipe away your tears. Out there is not the comfort of home, but a brutal world where people devour each other. Stop feeling sorry for yourselves, and don't pity me either. I don't pity myself. I know exactly what I want. I'll only say this once. Those who see themselves as pitiful are always waiting for someone else to save them. If you want to be strong, the first step is to get rid of that cheap sense of grievance. Pies don't fall from the sky. Who are you crying for? The few old nannies were stunned by my words.
They couldn't understand. How could a marquis's daughter not feel wronged in a prison? Seeing their confusion, I asked them one question.
Does self-pity help?
The whole place fell silent. Fortunately, one quick-witted nanny finally caught on. While helping me bathe, she translated my words for the others.
Miss is saying that since she has chosen the second young master, we should hold our heads high and live our lives. If we go around looking like victims all day, we'll just become a laughingstock and not be taken seriously as people.
Although they haven't fully grasped my core philosophy, at least they've understood the basics. The reasoning is actually very simple. Princess Yunyang is grateful for my choice, and that's a matter of sentiment. But if we use that sentiment to act overly sensitive, then that's just foolish. Sitting in the bath, I let out a comfortable sigh.
Call me second young madam. My mother trained you, so you should know how to behave here without my instruction, right?
Those words startled everyone. That night, I slept so soundly I was dead to the world. I woke late the next day, did my hair, and ate. Only then did Princess Yunyang smile and prepare the tea ceremony. Elsewhere, someone was exploding with anger. In his courtyard, Xiaolang was fuming and smashing everything to pieces.
How are you doing your job? How dare you serve such hot tea? Are you trying to scold me to death?
The maid knelt on the ground, trembling. Young master, please spare me. This is the same temperature as you usually drink it.
Useless thing! How dare you talk back?
Xiaolang, furious and twisted with rage, of course knew it wasn't the tea's fault. He just had a fire burning inside him and desperately needed someone to take it out on. Just then, a voice came from outside the door.
Xiaolang, what are you shouting about in here?
This official, risen through the palace ranks, had a stern look that inspired fear without anger.
Things have come to this. What can you do if you're not willing to accept it? Are you really going to keep making a scene and throw away the last bit of dignity you have as a young master?
Xiaolang's anger vanished in an instant. He was afraid of this beautiful aunt, and she knew he truly cared about saving face. Seeing him back down, the beautiful aunt's tone softened a little, but still carried a warning.
That person has already woken up. The princess is preparing the tea ceremony. Pull yourself together. Don't make a fool of yourself in front of others.
At the mention of the tea ceremony, Xiaolang's face darkened like the bottom of a pot. He gritted his teeth and said,
I should have been more ruthless and ended it. She's being forced. She still loves me.
Hearing this naive statement from Pu Shinan, Aunt Mei looked utterly helpless.
A real man need not worry about finding a wife. If his feelings for you aren't steadfast, why dwell on it? You don't understand, Aunt Mei.
Xiaolang shook his head, looking absolutely certain.
She married my second brother out of helplessness. It was Princess Xihua who meddled in between. In her heart, there's only me.
Aunt Mei laughed coldly and doused him with cold water.
What can you do? He and Xiao Yu have already consummated their marriage and registered it with the Ministry of Revenue. She is now Xiao Yu's legal wife, completely and utterly. You're not willing to accept this, but can you take her back?
This series of devastating blows finally crushed Xiaolang. He'd sold the original property. Yes, it was registered there and couldn't get it back. He clutched his face in anguish.
I have been humiliated.
Aunt Mei sighed.
Cheer up, your aunt will find you someone better.
As for me, this juicy piece of meat might still have a chance in the future. Of course, he didn't say this out loud. At this moment, the atmosphere in the main hall was as strange as it could get. Princess Yunyang was beaming, the prince consort was smiling reservedly, and my 8-year-old little uncle, Xiao Ziyi, was already sitting properly, his face full of curiosity. The most awkward one was Xiaolang, who, as the elder stepbrother, sat there with 2 big dark circles under his eyes. Aunt Mei was also sitting upright beside him. The whole room was silent as a grave. After all, everyone in the capital knew that my eldest cousin had once wanted to marry a wife. If my father hadn't disliked him for being a scholar without official status, who knows who would be sitting in the seat of honor now. Yet, in the end, the one who won the beauty was that sharp-tongued Xiao Yu, who had offended the entire capital. In this situation, whoever spoke first would be the most embarrassed. Just then, I made my entrance. I led a group of maids, all dressed up, walking gracefully with every step. I walked in confidently, a proper smile on my face, not revealing a single flaw. As I approached, I adjusted my clothes and smiled apologetically.
Everyone, I apologize for being late. Yuanyang has arrived late. Don't blame yourself, it's me. It's our family that has wronged you. Did you sleep well last night in Xiaoqi's courtyard?
I gently tapped my hands together, pretending to be a shy young lady, but what I said next was a bombshell.
I have admired Xiao Jue for many years. Being able to marry him, I feel very at ease.
With just one sentence, I decisively cut things off. If you're going to break it off, do it cleanly. I took the opportunity to warn certain people, don't covet what doesn't belong to you. All those past affections were just for show. Sure enough, when Xiaolang heard this, his face instantly turned pale. Clutching his chest, he nearly fainted. He couldn't believe that all the gifts and thoughtful reciprocations between us over the past 2 years were just an act. Although Princess Yunyang was surprised, she went along with it.
After all the twists and turns, it seems you and Sister Xiao are truly destined for each other.
To spare that awkward father and son, he didn't say anything more. The prince consort quickly stepped in to smooth things over.
Your comfort is all that matters. This is your home now, princess. You're just in time to serve the tea.
Mother, please have some tea. Good child, get up quickly.
Right after that, it was Xiaolang's turn. As my stepbrother, it was only proper for him to accept a cup of tea from his sister-in-law as she entered the family. I held the teacup and respectfully offered it to him. However, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds passed. He just sat there as if nailed to the spot, refusing to reach out and take it. Those resentful eyes stared at me intently as if silently questioning me. A warning beep came from beside Xiaolang. It was Aunt May. Xiaolang jolted, finally realizing his loss of composure. Seeing him like that, I knew he regretted it. After all, in terms of looks, I was top-notch, and in terms of temperament, she was gentle and kind. Yet now she had become someone else's wife. He was probably still wildly agitated. That scoundrel of a second brother, Xiao Yu, must have tasted an unparalleled pleasure last night.
Xiaolang.
Aunt May called out again, and Xiaolang could only sigh softly and reluctantly withdraw. With eyes that seemed as if he had been abandoned, he took the tea from my hand. This round was finally over, but the real show was just beginning. I shifted my gaze to the side, putting on a look of curiosity.
May I ask who this is?
This is Xiaolang's cousin, Mei Jing. She used to serve as a witness in the palace and was released later. It just so happened that the princess fell ill, so my mother asked her to come over and lend a hand.
Aunt May must be a close friend of my mother-in-law, or why would she personally come to the inner residence?
As a 7th rank palace identity verifier, she knew most people leave the palace to marry. Who would waste years here for nothing? These words were a slap in the face. Aunt May's face paled, then turned green. She knew I was accusing her of overstaying her welcome. The words were so harsh that even the prince consort felt embarrassed, despite initially doubting his mother's actions. 2 years later he was used to it until I mentioned it today. Only then did everyone realize, wasn't this delaying her marriage?
Yes, it really has been unfair to cousin.
Princess Yunyang immediately chimed in, smoothing things over with her words, but in her heart she was probably already overjoyed. For 2 years she hesitated, but today I, her daughter-in-law, spoke up. Seeing things turn, Aunt May was anxious, but stayed calm.
It's nothing. I never intended to marry anyway, and I should thank Her Highness the Princess for taking me in and giving me a place to stay.
I sneered inwardly, but my tone became even sweeter.
That's not how you should put it.
Cousin May is so capable. Are there any relatives closer than a distant cousin in this world?
Why would you need to cling to the princess's residence and ask to be taken in?
What do you mean by that?
Xiaolang had just recovered and come in, and upon hearing this he was displeased again. He frowned protectively.
Are you driving cousin May out?
Shoo her.
I thought cousin May only came to care for mother-in-law, but since she has recovered now, why does May show no sign of leaving? Does she plan to stay here in the princess's residence for the rest of her life? With those words, the room went silent. The logic was sound, but saying this during the tea ceremony was like shredding the last bit of decency.
Retirement? That's nonsense. Cousin May is so capable. Does she need anyone to provide for her in her old age?
When he said this, he didn't notice at all. Aunt May's face darkened. I knew she stayed not for family but for my father-in-law, Prince Consort Xiao Shun. As a noble woman, she refused others to win him over, but since the wife is a princess, she cannot even be a concubine. This unrequited obsession twisted her heart. She even wants me dead. Princess Yunyang is scheming for rank. I cannot keep such a threat around. As things spiraled, the prince consort finally stepped in to defuse the tension.
Enough. Let's focus on the investigation. We'll discuss Aunt May's personal matters later.
A trace of disappointment flashed in Princess Yunyang's eyes. But there's still plenty of time in the future. Lin Yueyao, this is Zi and Xiao Yu's territory. The princess quickly composed herself and enthusiastically introduced the little one next to her to me. The third young master, Xiao Zi, is only 8 years old this year, with delicate features like a porcelain doll and a pair of big sparkling black eyes that were looking at me with admiration.
Zi has met her sister-in-law.
The little guy has a clear, bright voice and sparkling eyes. Don't let his young age fool you. There are undercurrents running deep within the mansion. He knew perfectly well what was going on, only regretting that he was too insignificant and unable to help his mother. But he could see through this new sister-in-law. A sharp tongue means he's a good fighter.
Zi,
I gave it over with sweaty hands. A pre-prepared gift, softly spoken.
Honey, how about we go visit your second brother together with your sister-in-law another day?
I lowered my head, looking at this exquisitely beautiful little dumpling in front of me.
Okay, sister-in-law.
Xiaozi, he nodded, his eyes tearing up. She admired her second brother, a scholar and warrior. After the incident, all her former playmates left her. Even her closest cousin grew distant. She suffered silently, her maturity breaking one's heart. After the tea ceremony, everyone left. Princess Yunyang, she grabbed my hand and pulled me straight toward her. Leading inside, she was considerate. Said,
Are you tired? If you are, you can go back and rest first. Thank you. I'm not tired. I just woke up. How could I be tired?
This honest answer made the princess laugh.
You really are a clever and good girl. I truly like you.
I like her too. In the hall, though appearing weak, she truly supported me. Once inside, the table was full of brocade boxes.
These are all valuables that I've been keeping for Xiao Yu. Now that you've married into the family,
they will all
is yours.
As she spoke, she took out an account book.
And as for the monthly allowance in the household, since our family is small, each person used to get 100 taels. Now that you've come, it will be raised to
200 taels. 200 taels. This number sounds pleasing, but my mind was spinning quickly, and I suddenly asked,
but that Xiaolang also gets 200 taels. Of course, both the palm and the back of the hand are flesh. It wouldn't be right to favor one over the other.
Why should that heartless man still get to enjoy my husband's family's money and live a carefree life? In that case, better not raise it at all.
All right.
100 taels is enough. I said it resolutely, even if I have to spend less myself. I absolutely can't let Xiaolang get an extra 100 taels. The princess was stunned, then immediately lost her composure.
You silly girl. Your household expenses are small. Even if it's an extra 100 taels, you can still afford it.
Sure enough, he didn't insist anymore. Instead, it was as if he'd found a kindred spirit. He grabbed me and started pouring out his grievances. Half the people in the household have no real background, so there's no point in managing them. The way you talked back to him today was exactly what I was thinking deep down. I've wanted him gone for a long time, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Not wanting to seem unreasonable, I just sipped my tea in silence. After all, he's only a temporary help. This family cares too much about face. Xiaoxun is a gentleman but indecisive, and the princess is too timid to offend anyone. What has come of it? In the end, it's always our own people who suffer the grievances. It's not like Xiao Yu, who may not give face to her own family, but she certainly never gives face to outsiders either. Fortunately, you've married in. Now everything's fine. Your trusted confidant has entered the household, and it's only natural for you to take back the authority of managing the household. No one can find fault with that. Seeing how happy she looked, I couldn't help but want to laugh. This mother-in-law is really easy to please. After settling the matter of the household management, she cautiously probed again.
Still want to deal with Xiaolang? Should your father-in-law take him to the marquee to apologize?
Seeing his unease, I realized he feared my father, commander of cavalry division.
No need. I'm married to Xiao Yu now, so it's settled. Making a scene just makes it look like I'm still involved.
The princess let out a sigh of relief, her whole body relaxing. But in the next second, his heart was in his throat again as he lowered his voice to ask,
So, how are you getting along with Xiao Yu? That rascal hasn't made you suffer, has he?
He knew his son well. Since he was young, he'd been proud and untouchable. After 2 years inside, has he even changed?
I haven't suffered at all. He's doing just fine.
The image of that man appeared in my mind, and I couldn't help but smile. Him? He may look tough, but he's really just a paper tiger. No matter what, he wouldn't bully a weak woman like me. Of course, that's also because I have the skills to handle him. But there was no need to tell my mother-in-law about this.
That's good, that's good.
The princess patted her chest, completely relieved. The two of us chatted for another quarter of an hour. When I got up to take my leave, a maid carrying a pile of things followed behind me. As I reached the door, I paused, recalling the look of resentment in my aunt's eyes just now. I felt it was necessary to give this naive and sweet mother-in-law a reminder. I turned around, my expression serious.
Mother, Aunt May is lingering here for a reason. It's probably not just about money, but about the master of the house. You must keep a close eye on her. Don't let her get anywhere near the master.
After all, in the original story, Aunt May actually succeeded and even became pregnant. What's even more interesting is that Xiaolang and the people from the Yongzhenbo mansion went out of their way to protect her. The mother-in-law reluctantly accepted the marriage. As for the self-righteous father-in-law, he claimed ignorance and stayed out of it.
Turns out Aunt May's backer is Imperial son-in-law.
Princess Yunyang was utterly shocked, clearly stunned by this explosive revelation. She could hardly believe it. Was there some kind of misunderstanding? I secretly smirked to myself, deciding to add more fuel to the fire.
How would I dare make this up? Father-in-law must have figured it out by now. If you don't believe me, just go ask him.
I've never liked that indecisive father-in-law anyway, so this is a good chance to give him some trouble.
What?
He knew about it all along. So, Xiao Yu was just pretending to be clueless with me.
Mother-in-law, please calm down and have a good talk with father-in-law. I'll head back first.
It wasn't until I slipped out of the courtyard that I realized my whole body was sore and aching. I kept saying I wasn't tired, but after fooling around all night with that bastard Xiao Yun, even if my body were made of iron, I couldn't take it. Meanwhile, over at the prison,
Second young master Guiwan is staying at the residence to keep watch. Here, I've brought you some wine and food. These are all the main dishes prepared for yesterday's banquet. Although they're leftovers, they haven't spoiled in this cold weather. Please make do and have something to eat.
Xiao Yuxian pouted in annoyance. Leftovers from yesterday, huh? Well, at least it's food from his own wedding banquet. It really wouldn't make sense not to have a couple of bites. He picked up a roasted chicken leg, took a bite with some Badiao wine. Babao stood by, gloating. You have no idea, the eldest young master is furious. He's smashing things in his room to vent. Hearing that Xiao Lang had suffered a setback, Xiao Yu was in a great mood. After downing a couple of sips of wine, he asked casually,
How did the tea ceremony go? Did that brat Xiao Lao try to cause trouble?
No man tolerates losing his wife. After last night, he knew that feeling well. Xiao Lang couldn't swallow such humiliation.
Cause trouble?
Someone tried stirring trouble during the tea ceremony.
Xiao Yu dropped his food and the cell turned icy. He looked up, his gaze sharp and lethal. The intensity nearly made Babao kneel. Babao swallowed hard, quickly blaming the second young madam for the trouble. Xiao Yu paused, then slowly wiped his mouth.
How did she do it? Tell me about it.
He resumed his lazy ways and kept gnawing his chicken. Babao sighed in relief and gestured wildly, looking excited.
The second young madam is quite a character. Her tea service timing is unprecedented, sleeping until the afternoon. The princess dotes on her so much, she ordered no one to wake her.
Hearing this, Xiao Yu, eating a chicken leg, froze. He hid his face in the shadows. As the reason his wife couldn't get out of bed, he found it hard to explain.
At first, everything went pretty smoothly. The eldest young master also served tea. He didn't dare say anything, but his expression looked as if he had swallowed a fly.
Xiao Yu scoffed mockingly. Upset? This marriage wasn't for her anyway. Why would the prestigious Wuchang Marquis family want that gloomy eldest master? But more importantly, there's that shameless, thick-skinned aunt.
That Aunt May was also seated among the main guests. How is that proper? But the prince consort and Her Highness the Princess are just too good-natured to put her in her place. So she really thinks of herself as half a mistress now.
Xiao Yu didn't say a word, just slowly took a sip of wine, her eyes icy cold.
It really has to be the second young madam. So impressive. She glanced over at the eldest young master and without missing a beat asked, Who is this mistress you're talking about? Didn't you see? Aunt May's face instantly turned as green as a moldy flatbread.
Ha 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 ha! Babao got more and more excited as she spoke, vividly reenacting how I questioned Aunt May about her retirement during the tea ceremony. In the end, she sighed, still not satisfied.
Second young master, don't you agree? A thinner-skinned person would be mortified by now. But Aunt May, a veteran, stays perfectly calm, Xiao Yu.
With a cold laugh, I realized she has bigger plans. Only now did she believe me. The princess's residence looks splendid, but is fraught with danger. Fools like Guiyuan and Babao think she'll protect them, but their mother is easily swayed by sweet words. As for their father, he's a useless mess. Thinking of this, Xiao Yu set down his wine cup, looking more serious than ever.
Babao, tell Leon that in the residence, she must listen to the second young madam. If she is unsure, then she should listen to my mother. Do you understand?
Babao was stunned.
Isn't that against the rules? What are you thinking? It's not just that my parents are too spineless, it's that Lin Yueyao isn't spineless at all.
Meanwhile, at Princess Yunyang's residence, Aunt May began to panic. Only now did she realize that I was truly determined to drive her out. If she were kicked out now, before she and her cousin had consummated their relationship, she would suffer a huge loss. Taking advantage of the fact that her mother-in-law's attention was all on me, she decided to take a risky move. So she decisively sent someone to invite Prince Consort Xiaoxun to her boudoir. The reason was to discuss today's events. Although she was indecisive, she also felt it was inappropriate. But then she thought, her cousin leaving the residence really couldn't be delayed any longer. The sooner the better. It was best to make things clear now.
Cousin May, you wanted to see me?
It was Xiaoxun's first time stepping into this courtyard and his whole body resisted it.
Cousin, you're here. Come in quickly. I'll serve you some tea.
Xiaoxun hesitated at the doorway, glancing around inside.
Where's the maid? Just let the maid serve.
Cousin, you must be joking. There are some private matters between us that I fear are not suitable for the servants to overhear.
A man and a woman alone in a room. Xiaoxun's expression changed instantly, his whole body stiffening like a block of wood.
Cousin May, you can't say that. There's nothing improper between us. What could there possibly be that can't be seen by others?
Seeing him pull away, Aunt May was heartbroken. She changed her tone and started playing the victim.
You saw the tea ceremony today. That new wife obviously can't tolerate me, cousin. Do you want me to leave too?
Xiaoxun avoided her burning gaze, his tone softening a little.
Yuan Yao did speak a bit bluntly. I'll apologize to you on his behalf, but he wasn't wrong either.
He took a deep breath. He finally steeled his heart.
You've stayed here too long. First, it's hurt your marriage prospects. Second, it's inappropriate for an unmarried woman to stay at her cousin's house this long.
I understand now. No matter how you put it, cousin, you still want me to leave.
Why would I cling to your residence and refuse to leave?
Do you really not know?
Do you? Once again the atmosphere froze. Aunt May approached step by step, her voice trembling with tears, every word striking to the heart. Back then, when Xiaolang's mother was on her deathbed,
didn't she hold your hand on her deathbed and ask you to marry me? So I'd care for Xiaolang. Xiao Yu, can you swear you didn't agree?
The air instantly froze. Xiaoshun closed his eyes in pain. On one side was the promise he made to his late wife, on the other, his current wife, Princess Yunyang.
No, cousin, this isn't fair to me. Yes, I did promise, but I have no romantic feelings for you. At that time, I only agreed so she could pass away in peace.
So you think you have a clear conscience, Xiaoshun?
He felt deeply guilty. To keep a promise to his late wife, he wronged my mother-in-law just to keep favoring his cousin May.
I've wronged you.
Xiaoshun took a deep breath, trying to reason with her.
Cousin, do you really think I don't know about my mother's ulterior motives for letting you into the household?
Since you know, why won't you let me have what I want?
Aunt May's eyes turned red with tears, and she reached out pitifully to grab her sleeve. Xiaoshun was so startled she shook her off as if she'd been burned.
If you want me to leave, fine.
Aunt May suddenly let out a cold laugh, wiped away her tears, and put forward a shocking condition.
Give me a child.
What? The hero's pupils quaked as he stared in terror at this crazy woman.
As long as I have a child, I'll obediently go back to my hometown and spend the rest of my life raising the child. I promise never to bother you and the princess again. Otherwise, you will never be able to face Xiaolang's mother in this lifetime. Xiaoshun, stop pretending. There's no man in the capital more hypocritical than you. Xiaoshun was so ashamed and furious that he kept backing away. Cousin, as long as you give me a child, all our debts will be settled. Or do you want someone as innocent as Princess Yunyang to keep paying the price for you?
Enough! Your demand is outrageous! It's simply against all human decency.
Fine. I'll stay right here. Dare to kick me out? If you do, I'll tell Princess Yunyang we were betrothed years ago, and she stole my husband.
You're talking nonsense!
You were willing to marry me! It was that princess who interfered halfway through! She's a shameless homewrecker.
Enough! The princess doesn't know anything at all. It was all my fault. Back then I lied to her and said I was unmarried. It has nothing to do with her. If you want to blame someone, blame me.
I don't blame you, cousin. I'm begging you. Just give me a child and I'll let your whole family go.
That's impossible!
Xiaoshun struggled desperately to push him away.
I'll find Princess Yunyang and let her choose. It's a dead end anyway. I'll take everyone down with me.
Xiaoshun panicked and hurriedly reached out to pull her back, trying to stop this mad woman. In the struggle, the two became entangled. Aunt May took the opportunity to cling tightly to her chest, her face streaked with tears as she looked up at her.
Cousin, will you promise me?
Just as Xiaoshun was about to speak, the door opened, and standing outside was none other than Princess Yunyang. She stood frozen at the doorway. In her eyes, her husband was tightly embracing that so-called cousin, one with tears streaming down her face, the other looking conflicted. No matter how you looked at it, they seemed like a pair of star-crossed lovers. What are you doing? As if shocked by electricity, he suddenly pushed Meigugu away, his face full of panic. Princess, it's not what you think. But it was already too late to explain. The tremendous impact struck Princess Yunyang's heart. So it turned out that everything her daughter-in-law Yueyao had said was true. They really did have an affair. In an instant, grievance, anger, and shame surged up inside her, and Princess Yunyang's eyes turned red with tears.
Hey, Xiao Yu, you in deceiving me!
Princess, please let me explain.
Xiaoshun was so terrified that his soul nearly left his body. He hurried over, trying to grab her, but Princess Yunyang forcefully shook off his hand and turned to leave. Tears streamed down her face like broken pearls. Crying, she strode out. If her daughter-in-law hadn't warned her, she would still be in the dark, being played for a fool.
Princess, come back inside and let me explain, alright? It's really not what you think. I was just trying to stop him from making trouble.
Although Princess Yunyang was heartbroken, she still cared about saving face. She headed to the main courtyard. Seeing his wife returning, Xiaoshun sighed in relief. He knew her well. She was soft-hearted and easily moved.
There really is nothing between me and Cousin May. We just had an argument earlier, and when she said she was going to talk nonsense to you, I stopped her. That was my mistake. I didn't expect him to be so extreme. If I had known, I never would have let him stay in the residence.
But upon hearing these words, Princess Yunyang suddenly stopped in her tracks. She wiped the tears from her face and turned around.
So it was you who allowed him to stay in the residence. You knew all along that your cousin had feelings for you, didn't you? You knew I would be upset, yet you still let her stay. So all the grievances I've suffered over the years were intentional on your part.
Yao Shun was caught off guard, his whole body frozen in place, hurriedly searching for words.
But it really is my fault. I owe her.
Immediately after, this man who had always tried to gloss things over finally dared not hide anything anymore, and poured out all those tangled, unresolved matters from years ago in one go. In the end, he even made a solemn promise.
There's nothing with Cousin May. I don't like her.
Princess Yunyang was stunned.
To think there was even an engagement. How absurd.
However, being soft-hearted is a common flaw among women. Princess Yunyang's anger subsided by half, but she then asked the most fatal question.
If today hadn't happened, would you have told me? Or would you have kept it from me forever?
The ambitious man truly never intended to confess. He always used this as an excuse, hoping to resolve it secretly.
Xiaoxui. So you feel guilty. So you just let him discuss me day after day right in front of me. It was only after meeting Yue Yang today that I realized I shouldn't have to wrong myself. Even Lian Junyao dared to just send your cousin away directly. Yet I, Princess Yunyang, have to watch your mood and entertain your relatives. Why? Why should I have to live so humiliatingly?
All the grievances over the years, my husband's inaction, my son's imprisonment, every single thing is flooding my mind.
Get out!
I don't want to see you right now. Go back to your Yongcheng Marquis Manor. Your whole family is bullying me.
Xiaoshun's heart suddenly trembled. He loved the princess, but on one side was filial duty, and on the other was love. Yet seeing the resolute look in his wife's eyes, his own eyes turned red. Xiao Yu, do you think I, the princess, am joking with you? Leave. Leave right now.
I'm not leaving. I'll stay here with you. You can hit me or scold me. It's all my fault, but I won't leave you.
Princess Yunyang cried in anger, yet she couldn't resist, feeling both sweet and hating her own weakness.
What's the point of dying? Will it solve all those messy problems in your family?
Tell him to pack up and get out of the residence immediately. I swear to the heavens, I will never betray you in this life. If Mother wants to blame someone, I will take full responsibility.
Princess Yunyang kept a cold face and said nothing more, but her heart was filled with sorrow. As a dignified royal princess, living like a vine clinging to a big tree was simply a disgrace to the imperial family. Although the main residence was in utter chaos, I slept especially soundly. By the time I opened my eyes, it was already completely dark. Good news soon followed. That deeply affectionate Aunt May had already been driven out of the residence overnight by Xiao Shun. The bad news was that my foolish husband Xiao Lang actually jumped out to defend her. Word is he's criticizing the elders, saying one must show gratitude and Aunt May shouldn't be humiliated. Idiot. Does he forget this is Princess Yunyang's home? I don't need his lectures on virtue to evict someone. Driving out Aunt May is just the start. Xiao Shun's biased mother and the Yongcheng crowd won't let this go. Whether Xiao Shun holds his ground depends on his future behavior. Next morning, after a slow breakfast, I went to the main courtyard on time. There, I found Princess Yunyang looking haggard. Despite her rival being gone, she still looked miserable.
Is something troubling you, mother-in-law?
I pretended not to know anything and sat down beside her with a smile.
Yueyao. You're here. Have you had breakfast? I have. Mother-in-law, you don't look happy.
Princess Yunyang sighed, not standing on ceremony with me, her face full of lingering fear.
Thanks to your warning, that Mei Wu really was eyeing the prince consort. If I hadn't gone in time yesterday, who knows what would have happened with Consort Shu.
Since it was, after all, a family scandal, she didn't go into detail. Seeing that she brought it up herself, I lowered my voice and pretended to be mysterious.
I heard about it too, but fortunately that person was finally kicked out. After all, father-in-law still cares about you. When you compare, it's only natural that he still puts you first.
These words seemed comforting on the surface but were actually hurtful. As expected, not only did Princess Yunyang not feel comforted, her face turned ashen and she gnashed her teeth, feeling humiliated to be compared to such a lowly woman. Pah! How pathetic am I? I am the legitimate wife and what's more, a noble princess.
Yet I've had to endure so many years of grievances for nothing.
Seeing the timing was just right, I quickly put on a look of panic. Mother-in-law, I really didn't mean it that way. But before she could react, I changed the subject and dropped a bombshell.
Actually, it's not that you're weak, you're just too gentle and virtuous. Unlike me, I'll tell you something, though you might find it laughable. In fact, at first Aiju Xiaoji didn't even want to consummate the marriage with me. Is that so? Then how did you end up getting him in the end?
I knew that rascal of a son wouldn't be easy to handle. I was even wondering why the wedding night went so smoothly.
Well, I didn't hold back. I pinched him and scolded him. Men, you know, they're just asking for trouble. If you treat them too well, they just take advantage of you. But if you give them a good beating, they behave themselves.
Princess Yunyang's gaze involuntarily fell on my slender wrist, and she imagined her tall son's physique. Her face was full of disbelief.
No, not that kind of beating. You misunderstood.
My cheeks flushed slightly as I hurried to explain.
Just let him suffer a bit. Don't always yield. Think of your own happiness. If he upsets me, he won't have it easy. Yunyang seemed to understand, though shaken. Will this make Xiao Yu behave? Yes, she's willful, and even told me to get lost. Loving her isn't just giving in. You must keep her in check. If a daughter-in-law isn't a bit tougher, how will she ever respect me? I'm just too anxious. Princess Yunyang suddenly slapped her thigh. So that's how it is. I've just been too nice to her all along, and that's why kindness gets taken advantage of.
At that moment, the way she looked at me completely changed, as if she was seeing some kind of sage from another world. To really help her see the light, I decided to go all in. I leaned in close to her ear and lowered my voice.
Obedient women are boring. You must make them both love and hate you. Just use the carrot and stick approach. If it works, great. If not, let them go.
Stunned and doubting her life, she listened as I shared private details about Xiao Yu. Princess Yunyang wondered if she'd been too gentle. Yongcheng Mansion's counterattack came swiftly. 3 days later at dawn, the old madam and her maids blocked the princess's entrance. Behind her, Aunt May cried resentfully for justice, accusing the princess of power-tripping. They blamed her for ousting officials and shaming the earl's estate. When a maid reported this, I was teaching Princess Yunyang flower arranging. After days of guidance, she had shed her frailty. Her grip on the stems was now firm. Hearing the news, she just looked up calmly.
Let them make a scene until they're satisfied. Someone will naturally take care of it in the end.
I smiled. Our lessons had clearly paid off. She stayed calm instead of panicking as she once did. Suddenly, a familiar sharp laugh echoed from outside.
Mother is right. How could we let outsiders cause a scene at our own doorstep?
My heart jolted. I looked up to see Xiao Yu, dressed in a pale moon-white robe, standing tall like a pine tree. Though his face still bore traces of the gauntness from prison, his eyes shone with a startling brightness. He was finally free. You're finally back, Princess Yunyang said. Her voice choked with emotion as she steadily grasped her son's hand. Xiao Yu's gaze swept past his mother and landed on me. With a faint, mischievous smile, he took a few steps toward me and reached out to touch my face, but I raised my hand and brushed him away.
You just got back and you're already fooling around at the door, not behaving yourself. Hurry up and go tidy up.
No rush.
He leaned close to my ear, whispering hoarsely,
Let me first see if my dear wife has missed me.
Then she quietly grasped my wrist, her warm touch flushing my ears. In the hall, the Yongcheng Marquise's dowager sat crying and cursing. Aunt May wept nearby. Xiao Lang stood awkwardly in the corner, hesitant to act, while Prince Consort Xiao Xun stood in the middle, looking lost. He stopped playing peacemaker. Xiao Yu led me into the hall with authority. The room went silent. Shielding me, he glanced at the old lady and Aunt May, his voice icy.
Grandmother, bringing outsiders to the princess's residence to cause trouble? Do you think the Bo Manor or I, Xiao Yu, are so easily bullied?
You unfilial son! It was your wife who drove away Cousin May and humiliated my Yongcheng Bo Manor. Today I must have the princess give me an explanation, or else I'll go to the palace gates and file a complaint with the emperor. I'll let the whole capital know that your Yunyang princess's residence cannot tolerate others.
Go ahead and complain, old madam. Let his majesty judge. Aunt May stayed in my cousin's manor for 2 years, coveting her brother-in-law and plotting against the princess. If the palace hears this, will the king punish the princess or your manor for failing to raise its daughters?
I signaled the maid to fetch the papers.
This is evidence that Aunt May secretly bribed a servant girl in Tongfu to add something to the princess's medicine. There were also letters from him, conspiring with other men to sell off the princess's property. Does the old lady want to see it? My aunt's face turned deathly pale instantly, and she knelt down with a thud. You forged it, Wei Zong.
This is what you dropped back then when you sneaked into my study, trying to steal my father's official letters. Your personal seal is on it. Do you dare say it's not yours?
That jade pendant from the Marquise's house has been worn by Aunt May for years. It's well known. The old lady saw the pendant and Aunt May's panic and knew. She glared at her. His chest labored, but he was speechless. Young Master Xiao now realized the cousin he protected was actually vicious. He staggered, disappointed, and said softly,
Enough.
The old lady suddenly raised her hand to cut him off.
It is my failure in teaching my daughter. I accept responsibility for what happened today. I will take Mei Jing away, and from now on, she is never to set foot in the princess's residence again.
With that, she yanked Aunt May up forcefully. They left in disgrace. Young Master Xiao stood frozen in place, his whole body stiff. Xiao Yu walked up and patted him on the shoulder, her tone calm.
You've always been easily swayed and taken advantage of, but at least your nature isn't bad. From now on, behave yourself and take care of your own courtyard. The princess's residence will not treat you unfairly, but if you lose your sense of judgment again, don't blame me for no longer recognizing you as my elder brother.
Xiao Lang hung his head, and after a long while he replied softly,
I understand.
Afterward he focused on his studies and avoided family disputes. Years later, he passed the exams and took an official post away, a good outcome. Once the turmoil subsided, the wrongfully imprisoned Xiao Yu was exonerated and reinstated. Promoted by the emperor with a bright future, Prince Consort Xiao Shun finally saw the cost of his indecision. He grew more respectful toward Princess Yunyang, consulting her and no longer indulging his relatives. Their bond grew even stronger than in their youth. Princess Yunyang put her learning to use, occasionally checking the prince consort, though less fiercely than I do. This deepened Xiao Shun's respect, and the stifling atmosphere vanished. Young Master Xiao Zi grew attached, studying with me daily. She even imitated my firm manner, showing early confidence. I took her to academy classes or the military camp to watch Xiao Yu drill. Her timidity faded, replaced by heroism. Life was peaceful, yet Xiao Yu grew bolder. One night, while I read on the couch, she suddenly hugged me from behind. Chin resting on my shoulder.
Lady. I'm tired from training today, so I'll give you a massage.
He rubbed my waist without noticing I was reading, and he wouldn't let it go, gently tickling my waist with his fingers.
My wife wasn't like this before. She used to actively try to get close to me in prison. Now she finds me troublesome.
I slapped his hand away and turned to glare at him.
Xiao Yue, you're asking for it again, are you? Believe me, I'll curse you out and make you worse than a dog.
But he just laughed out loud, pulled me tightly into his arms, his eyes full of affection.
Scold me all you want, as long as you pay attention to me.
As he spoke, he lowered his head and kissed my forehead.
I once thought self-cultivation and service to the world was the goal, but meeting you showed me that having you home completes my life.
Warmth filled me. I put down the book and hugged her. Outside, bright moonlight hit the couch. Days later, at a palace banquet, Princess Yunyang and her consort stood tall, her frailty gone. During the event, someone mentioned the past. He smiled faintly.
In the past, I was always afraid of offending others and wrong myself, but now I finally understand. For a woman, there's no need to compromise on everything. Protecting your family and living freely is what matters most.
I sat beside Xiao Yu, watching the changes in my mother-in-law, then glanced at the gentle-eyed man next to me, a smile rising at the corner of my lips. The Yunyang princess's residence, once a den of dragons and tigers, is now my safe haven. Xiao Yu held my hand tightly as if making a promise, as if reluctant to let go. By the time the banquet ended, night had fallen. Xiao Yu led me along the main road, moonlight spilling over us, our shadows stretching long behind.
My lady, for the rest of our lives, I will protect you, protect Mother and Z, and never let anyone bully you again.
I looked up at her, the starlight reflected in her eyes, smiling as I raised an eyebrow.
That's something I should be saying. But since you've behaved so well, I'll allow you to touch me from time to time in the future.
She let out a low laugh, scooped me up in her arms, and walked with a light step.
Then I won't hold back.
The evening breeze brushed by. Roadside lanterns flickered, casting shadows of two people. I once thought marriage was just for protection, but I never expected to find someone who both disciplines me and keeps me safe. So what if the jade shatters? Together we are whole, year after year.